My name is Jared Gertz of curlingzone.com, and I'd like to welcome back special guest Chelsea Carey here for the stream this morning. Good morning. Good morning. It is quite early there in Calgary, Alberta right now.
It sure is. I got to watch the sunrise about 10 minutes ago.
Really amazing to have you, Chelsea. I know I always get questions about which streams you were doing from fans, people looking to go back and catch up on the game. So certainly appreciate you for the insights on this game. We've
My
got
pleasure.
the last two Ontario Junior champions here, the 2019 champion Thea Coburn, as well as the 2020 champion Sierra Sutherland here.
Very cool.
So this is the third of 3 weekends now at the KW Granite Club here in Kitchener-Waterloo, Ontario. Started out with the Cameron's Brewing mixed doubles on September 25th to 27th. Last weekend was the Stu Sells Oakville Tankard. Jennifer Jones won the women's side. We did have to put the men's side on a pause due to a COVID alert warning notification. Of course, that player has since cleared, and we're back again here this weekend. For Team Sutherland, we have Julie Breton leading off, Chelsea Ferrier at second, Aaron Butler is filling in this weekend at third, and Sierra Sutherland is the skip.
Hi, we're Team Sutherland from the Rideau Curling Club in Ottawa, Ontario. We just want to thank a few of our sponsors, Sean Coburn from the Welland Funeral Home, Martha Jerry, and Hardline. And we want to thank the KW, Stu Sells and Jerry for hosting this event this weekend. And stay safe and take care of everyone.
For Team Coburn, Alice Holyoke at lead, Calissa Daly is at second, Brianna Rosen at third, and Thea Coburn skips and throws the last two stones.
So for Team Sutherland, I think the call on their first shot was actually a corner guard, but unfortunately for them, it slipped into the house. Team Coburn hit and rolled out, so they got to throw the corner guard on their second one. Of course, because of the 5-rock rule, that still can't be hit. So we saw Team Coburn go throw another rock to the middle here, but for Team Sutherland, a pretty low-risk opportunity to potentially set up a deuce.
Yeah, you love these ends as the hammer team, don't you?
Absolutely. There's nothing overly threatening there. There's no center guards in your way, and you've got that corner guard. So if at any point in the end you get a chance to use it, great. And if not, you take your blank, and you're pretty happy with that too.
Just got caught on the straight side there. We've watched this sheet all last weekend, again last night, and it is a little bit straighter off the boards there, off that aisleway. Certainly one of the things that makes curling club play a little bit different from arena play, isn't it, Chelsea?
Yeah, for sure. In an arena, you might have that, but it's because the ice gets flooded and put in uniquely each time. It tends to not be slanted, at least. But I do recall a time we played a Canada Cup in Brandon a couple of years ago, and my dad was our coach at the time, and himself played a bunch in Brandon coming up through his Briar wins and things. And I remember him saying to the ice maker, to Greg Owasco, "Is it still downhill coming home?" And Greg said, "What are you talking about? It's not downhill, blah, blah, blah." And then he goes, "Fine, you're right. It's still downhill, but no, it's not. We flooded it extra so it's level." But it was colder because of the extra ice on the one end to level it out. So then that still affected the speed, but it was interesting. So certain arenas will still have tendencies, as proven in that case, but definitely different than a curling club. Often you'll see where there's a walkway like that, or on the end sheets, like a curl towards or away. That's pretty common in a curling club, and it will stay there. It's just one of those things. It's hard for them to correct that. If it's there, it's probably going to be there for years and years and years. So for teams that played in this event last weekend, or in the mixed doubles event before that, a big advantage in the sense of knowing those tendencies. But it was colder.
Yeah, it's just, it affects airflow. There's certain things or heat sources that are in the building. I know I've been in curling clubs before where the home end, it was faster towards the home end or the away end. And a lot of that's just, the warm room is at one end of the facility, and it's easier to control maybe the other end versus the home end. And
it's almost always warmer at the home end because you have the inside there, right, where it's a different temperature. So typically in a curling club, it'll be warmer at that end. Usually that makes it a little faster, but not always. So it's dependent. But I know, going around like clubs I grew up at, playing at in Winnipeg, where that, sheet 6 curls towards the boards, and sheet 4 where the divider is curls away from the divider, and that's it just is what it is, and it's not a bad thing. It's just that's how it is, and the team that figures it out first typically will have a significant advantage.
Yeah, and a lot of these types of things are consistent as well.
Exactly.
You find them.
If it curls that way, if the sheet's a little slanted that way, that's just that it's going to do it every time. So it's just about how quickly you figure it out and how you use it to your advantage in theory, or how it maybe affects the other team in a negative way, or whatever it is. But as long as it does it every time, it's hard to complain about it.
Yeah, we're certainly seeing that on this sheet. It's not a bad thing at all or anything. It's just a little bit curler off that center aisleway there. You get a little bit more swing the other way. And so skips just need to adjust for that, put the broom in the right place. It's the sort of thing, Chelsea, I would imagine, being the curling super fan you are, you will watch every game you can. So during the slams, for example, or the Scotties, you're watching the TV games, you got to be watching the sheet at the same time.
Oh, totally. Especially if you're playing on that sheet at some point. You're watching it to watch the rocks. If we're watching Brad Jacobs and they're saying, "Oh yeah, that's that 6 again," of yellow or whatever, then we make a note of that. We don't know what it is, but we're like, okay, well, they didn't like the 6. Something about it was weird. And also the sheet shape. If you're seeing a fall in a certain spot, or like a really hard curl, like a little bit of a ridge maybe, or a sheet shape as far as, is it dished? Does the dish start in the middle of the 12-foot, or does it start at the edge of the 8-foot? All those little things. And you'll hear about players talking about that to each other too, where somebody's texting somebody else, so you walk past them in the club and you're like, was that a weird spot on the edge of the 8-foot on C? And they're like, yeah, it just really jumped there or whatever. Where you're constantly trying to figure it out, and the sooner you can, the better. And if it's before the game, that's the best case scenario. Yeah,
certainly. There's so many little things behind the scenes as to what makes these rocks curl and where they curl, and just understanding that the quickest is going to make a huge advantage.
It'll also affect the speed. So if a spot is really straight, it'll tend to be a little bit faster. And if it's really curly, it'll be a little bit slower. So important not only for putting the broom in the right place, but also for the thrower to know what kind of speed you're looking for relative to what we would think of as normal, where the rest of the sheet is 14.5. Well, but if I'm throwing it in a really straight spot, it might be 14.8 or 15. And if I'm throwing it in a curly spot, maybe it's only 14 or like below 14. So that can make a big difference. That half a second doesn't sound like much, but it's massive. It's 6 feet.
First of 2 skip stones here for Sierra Sutherland.
Looking for the hit and roll there. Rolled the right direction, but not quite enough. Looks like that's still wide open. So got opportunity for Team Coburn here to put some pressure on. Roll this a little bit underneath and sit 3, mostly buried.
You never hate making the opponent skip draw against multiple stones in the first end.
Never, ever a bad idea. Rolled a little further than she would have liked, but does the job in the sense of you're probably not going to chase that if you're Team Sutherland. So not bad, but would have liked to stay full 8 foot and made this draw a little bit harder. Still making her draw against 3 though. Going to see her throw this same path. They would have thrown this path earlier in the end to get around that corner guard. So in theory, you would put this broom somewhere near the edge of the 8 foot and just draw to the button and give yourself more rings. But because they know the speed in this path, they're going to default to this versus kind of taking maybe a guess in the other path. They would have thrown this a few times as a send. So feeling comfortable with how fast this spot will be.
Sweeper kind of backing off here. Not loving
not
this.
Good.
And this one will slide through and it'll be a steal 3 for Team Coburn.
And that's exactly why we said making her draw against 3 in the first end's never a bad idea. It's just, you're never quite sure. You're not fully confident. You maybe haven't thrown a draw. It's always a tough one, and unfortunately didn't work out there for Team Sutherland.
When I sweep with the Gold Line Fiber Light, I feel like I'm sweeping on TV.
That's life.
More surface area, better results. It's that easy.
It's that easy. You need to sweep for weight.
You need to sweep with this.
Now, every time I curl, people ask me, what are you sweeping with?
What are you sweeping with?
What are you sweeping with?
It's a Gold Line.
It's a Gold Line.
It's a Gold Line.
It's a Gold Line.
And it's the choice of champions.
Firehouse Subs has so many delicious quality subs. There's something for everyone. But the one that started it all more than 25 years ago was the Hook and Ladder. Piping hot and piled high with freshly sliced smoked turkey breast, honey ham, melted Monterey Jack, and loaded with the freshest toppings on a toasted roll. Try the Hook and Ladder today to find out why everyone keeps coming back again and again. The Hook and Ladder. One bite and you'll be hooked. Visit firehousesubs.ca to order online.
Back here inside the KW Granite Club, my name's Jerry Gertz of Curling Zone, joined by Chelsea Carey. So for you, Chelsea, I know the season has kind of been waiting to see what's coming. Maybe playing a little bit of mixed doubles and seeing what else is possible out there at this point.
Yeah, it seems like it's an ever-changing situation for sure, but hopefully get a couple doubles events in if nothing changes, if the regulations and things don't change, and see what happens from there.
Some exciting news out of Alberta there. I know Rachel Holman's been working hard on getting a big mixed doubles event going. I think they just announced the title sponsor, Extreme Oilfields, I believe is the title name. Now the title sponsor, and I think they have a $19,000 purse for this event.
Oh, it's gone up. It was supposed to be 15, she was hoping, but that's great news.
Yeah, it's definitely exciting news to see this, and the names are on Curling Zone. I know there's a number of teams already registered, getting close to filling that 25-team field there.
Yeah, it should be a great event. Love to see players sort of take it upon themselves to set these events up. We saw Rachel's mixed doubles partner John Morris do it a couple of years ago and has had huge success with the Qualico mixed doubles event in Banff and Canmore right around New Year's, and so Rachel following his lead, and she's doing a great job so far. It's really exciting news. I know she texted me a few weeks ago and asked if we'd be interested in playing, so Colin and I are looking forward to heading out to St. Paul, Alberta for that event.
Yeah, so this is the second year for that event, and you're right. It's great to see the players getting in and putting on events and stuff. It's just a matter of doing a little bit of the groundwork and hopefully sourcing some sponsors at the same time. But a lot of this stuff can be supported through the work at Curling Zone and everything as well. And Rachel, I think it was last year. I think it was like a $150 entry fee and like a $2,000 purse. Not a bad upgrade there.
Yeah, decent, I would say.
So here into the second end, Team Sutherland is just looking to settle down here and find their legs.
Yeah, you don't need to get this all back at once. This is one of those situations where you would really like to score multiple points here, but you can't sell the farm either. It was only the first end. So it's that old adage, if you're ever going to give up 3, do it in the first end at least so you have time to come back. But definitely need to get something going here. And what they've got going for them so far is some guards. Looks like this might slip behind the tee line. So now you're in not a bad situation. Make a little play on this, a freeze or a tap maybe. This looks like ice for something with a guard though, potentially, hey?
Just for the fans at home, Chelsea and I are both commentating from away. We've got a great but small crew on site there. Evan Seacombe and with Steven on the camera, Jake on the switcher. They're taking care of all the pictures, the sound coming out of the KW Granite Club.
What a great shot that is. That's a high-risk call for Team Sutherland in the sense that if you just drive it by and then Team Coburn wraps around again, you're in big trouble, but they couldn't have made that any better. Rolled to a freeze on the yellow rock there behind the corner guard. You can see some of it on this outturn side, so they're looking at chasing it, but I don't know that you could have walked that down and made it a whole lot better than they just did. Nice shot right back by Team Coburn. Got by that guard fairly tight. Kill both rocks and stay above the tee line. You could have just picked that red as well, but then the challenge becomes that you're still back tee. So that couldn't have worked out a whole lot better for Team Coburn. Some great shooting in this end so far. Yeah,
this is their first game of the weekend. They had the bye last evening. They did get a chance to get out and throw a few rocks on the time slot that originally was their game time. Makes the little hit and roll under. Now it's Coburn's turn to try and make one of these run backs. Look how easy that is, Chelsea.
Yeah, they're making it look like it. That's a long run back.
Yeah, a couple of young women's teams that I know most curling fans have never heard of, but certainly some very talented players on the ice here. Team Sutherland, the 2020 Ontario Junior Champions, as well. Team Coburn, the 2019 Ontario Junior Champions.
Seeing that translate a lot more into success on the tour in women's and men's than it did, but you know, if you look back maybe 10 years, it was still happening, but maybe a little bit less frequently. Now it's there's not very many of us, and I say us because I'm including myself in this, that didn't have success in juniors that do win big events and Canadian championships and things. It's becoming more and more rare. You're seeing that really feed into the junior ranks. Have also, like, the skill level has gotten so much better in the last sort of 10, 15, 20 years than it was when I was in juniors, even, or you know, people even older than me, as far as going back, and the number of events we had and the kind of training that we had. It just wasn't the same thing. Now it's incredible. I watch juniors play and I'm going, holy smokes. It was never that way when I was in it, because it just wasn't, the focus wasn't the same and the training wasn't the same, and practice requirements and scheduling and all that. So it's really quite incredible to see the growth in the game at that level.
Yeah, of course, you know, we also have Emily Deshane beating Jennifer Jones last night. Deshane's 17 years old, and one of the real next up-and-coming stars of the game. It seems like, you know, getting their start here last night again, too. Would love to have stuck that on the other yellow stone there.
Yeah, I would love to have stuck it anywhere in the house. Would have been ideal. You're now looking at best a single point.
Just a shout out to any of the fans watching along. If you have any questions for Chelsea, put them into the chat on Facebook or on YouTube as well. We'll be monitoring that and certainly get into a conversation here around curling. Everything that's going on, Chelsea. What has pandemic been like for you?
It's been bizarre. I went from February till October without throwing a rock. I've never gone that long in my life, I don't think. About 7.5 months. So it's been crazy. And of course, everything was shut down for a little while here, the gyms and everything. So I'm used to being busy, and that was the hardest part. It's you just get used to the routine. I go to practice, I go to the gym, and then I leave on usually Monday, especially for the slam. So you'd leave on a Monday and come home on a Sunday, kind of every other week, and then all of a sudden I've been sitting at home in the fall. In the summer, that's kind of normal, I guess, with the lack of travel. But yeah, it's been very, very strange and challenging to get used to the new normal, I guess you could say. But we're getting better, and we're doing actually fairly well in Calgary with COVID numbers. So things have been able to open up. Restaurants are open again now, and I'm back in the gym, but I need an appointment, and so that's been quite strange, but good. It's nice. I have a little group of people that we all, because of the appointment thing, we all train at the same time, and in the same, we have the gym all sectioned off at CSI Calgary here at Winsport. So it's been fun to get to know some people and train with them every week or every other day. And where before I would have kind of been on my own, and you see the people and you pass by them. So some good things came out of it for sure. I've spent more time on Zoom and FaceTime than I ever thought possible, but I've also, been spending, because it's virtual, because you're not doing it in person. I've spent a lot more time talking to friends of mine who don't live in the same city as me. So it's been interesting and kind of good in some ways. It certainly makes you appreciate the little things a bit more, but yeah, definitely a very strange time. And used to being by now normally, well, I mean, I don't remember the last time I had Thanksgiving without curling in the Autumn Gold event in Calgary. Before I lived in Calgary, I've spent every Thanksgiving in Calgary for 15 years. So it's bizarre to be going to Thanksgiving dinner tomorrow, because I don't normally get to do that. We're usually playing in an event. So very strange, but try to take the positives out of it as much as possible.
Yeah, we do have a few events going on around the country. In Saskatoon, the men are underway in their SAS Tour event, and the women are playing in Regina. For the men, this is their first event. The women, this is the third weekend on the ice. There's a mixed doubles event in between that and their first test event.
Interesting ruling out of Saskatchewan this past week too, where they're not allowed to play outside the province.
Play or train.
Yeah, for the purpose of sport, I think, right?
Yeah, I was talking to Kirk Myers about this. Him and his mixed doubles partner, Laura Crocker, aren't even allowed to get together. So it certainly makes for a challenge. I have heard that there is some discussions behind the scenes as how to manage that. I know Curling Canada, this is one of the things that them and a number of other associations have been doing, working with the local health agencies to ensure that proper plans are put in place for these things. And, if the starting point is no training, and then teams are able to present a proper plan around what they're going to do for approval, maybe that's acceptable.
Well, the interesting thing is that he's not allowed to get together with Laura, but so in the case of Matt Dunstone, he's the import. He doesn't live in Saskatchewan, but then he's allowed to train with his Saskatchewan team. So at what point does that become a double standard? Yeah,
the challenge really is simple messaging, and if you're looking for exemptions to things like that, you need to apply for them. They want to make it really easy for people to understand, and that's why some of the stuff that goes out is, seems so common sense and basic, but these decisions are made under guidelines to prevent interactions. But yeah, I understand, a lot of this stuff still needs to move forward. You look at so many other places where we're just trying to find our way and use all the precautions possible. Like you look at the event here, we've got temperature checks coming in the building. Players wear masks throughout the building. There's a couple of tracing apps in place here. One is the Curl On app that curling clubs use to identify who's in the building. And then, of course, the COVID Alert app, which kind of got some attention last weekend when one of the team members from Team Howard ended up getting an alert. And Team Howard wrote a little bit about it on their social media. TSN picked up a great story on it. And, it just made it so that if somebody had a contact, we were able to identify it quickly. The chance that this interaction was going to be positive was pretty slim anyways. The players have been, doing a good job minimizing contact, and it was around a work interaction where all safety protocols were taken, and, it all came clear at the end of the day.
So important, though, to your point, because everyone's in such close quarters for such a long time. that the spread is just so easy if somebody was positive. Now in this case it was probably not going to be that, but if it ever had been, I know at the start of the pandemic there was a bonspiel for doctors in Edmonton. They have their own curling leagues typically in a couple different cities across the country, and the majority of people that went to it ended up getting COVID because at that time we weren't taking the precautions. It was just at the very beginning, so there was still buffet and everything else, and it just ended up being quite widespread. And unfortunately for everybody, they're all doctors, so they're essential workers, but they all had to quarantine. My sister was actually at that event, and the number of positive tests that came out of it was insane.
Yeah, and I think it's just a matter of not understanding how it spread. There was another event in the United States, the U.S. Club National Championships. Exactly the same thing happened. A large percentage of the curlers and a number of people around the event came down with it. I think Dr. Paul Luthi from the Potomac area there did a study on it, and they just released it, some information on it. So certainly Googling that is worthwhile. It's on social media in some places.
Yeah, I remember being on a Zoom call early in the pandemic with a couple people that had been at the Club Nationals and ended up with COVID because of it from the US as well. So certainly so easy to spread at events like that where you're in such close quarters. So really important for events like this to be able to keep curling going, to follow all those precautions and err on the side of caution in like what happened with the men's event at Stu Sells. I mean, is it likely that this person had COVID? No, but what if he did? And so then it sounds aggressive to cancel the rest of the event, but it's what we need to be doing right now. It's just you have to err on the side of caution in these situations until we have COVID a little bit more under control.
Yeah, I was having a conversation with Mark Kennedy about it, and we kind of settled on the fact that we were about 80% successful last weekend. Like, the cancellation of the playoffs does not mean it was a failure. You know, the men were on the ice. They got 5 games in. They got a chance to get back in playing, in action again. You know, and for a lot of people, I've heard from them that, you know, just being out there on the ice, it's a mental, it's freeing mentally. Like the feeling you have being back in a little bit of normal again.
I think the only failure would be if you had a spread of COVID at an event.
Oh, for sure.
You could get through any portion of it without that, and then you have to call it off for precautionary reasons. I don't think that's a failure at all.
Yeah, just a secondary note as of that was not the first COVID alert app notification that we had as well. A player here this weekend had the app go off last week ahead of the Oakville event. And, you know, at the time there was no rush, there was no concern. This player just needed to go get a test and they were clear. And they're, again, participating this weekend. So, you know, we've had the warning system work. You know, there was 2 places where you know, COVID was around, and we got a heads up on it, and we got those people checked and locked those routes down. Chelsea Ferrier with second stones for Team Sutherland. Or is this Team Coburn now? Oop.
It's Coburn now. This is a situation where, again, I talked about it briefly in the first end, where if you're Team Coburn, what you would love to do is run up and peel that guard. But the 5-rock rule prevents that. So you see them just putting another stone on the button there that Team Sutherland will have to deal with eventually. But you really wish that you could go peel that, because being up 3 and Team Sutherland waiting until the second lead stone to throw that corner guard All you want to do, every fiber in your being is saying, go peel it, but you can't.
Just a little bit behind here on the update. Obviously, this is a real tough start here for the Sutherland team. Some early season jitters getting on the ice. I know for Sutherland, this is their first event. Coburn played last weekend in the Stu Sells Oakville event. So that's certainly going to have a bearing in how you're feeling out there on the ice too.
Yeah, we talked about it briefly last weekend when I was on the broadcast about the rust factor, because none of these teams, I mentioned how long a break it was for me between throwing rocks. All of these teams are in that same boat. Nobody's ever had a break this long because everything got shut down with COVID in March and then didn't reopen until later than usual. So definitely rust is going to be a factor with anybody who, even with the teams who did play last weekend, but certainly with the teams who didn't, where this is their first event, we're guaranteed to see that. I know when I first went on the ice, I mean, I've been curling my whole life and I felt like I had never been on the ice before. It was like a little bit like Bambi out there for the first time. So it's tough. It's difficult when you're used to having, I mean, at most I usually would have 2 months, and now it's been 7.5 off of playing. So even just sliding around on the ice and things felt foreign to me, which it never has in my life.
Yeah, it's certainly a big change and a bit of an equalizing factor out on the ice. So now your team Sutherland, Chelsea, you're in a big hole. What do you do? What do you got to find here?
You need to find a crooked number on the scoreboard. So I'd be throwing 2 corner guards probably, and you're certainly not playing any hits at all. You're tapping rocks back, you're freezing to them. Every rock in play is your friend right now. Whether it's red or yellow is not relevant. Try to get a 3 back. 2 is even not the end of the world, and then throw a couple centers and try to steal some points.
Makes a nice peel there to avoid the 2 in the rings.
Yeah, not that easy a peel with a bit of a wall of rocks in the house there. So nice shot there for Team Coburn.
Brianna Rosen has been playing in women's for a few years now. Played the last couple seasons with Erica Hobson. Joining up here with Coburn, adding some experience to the team. I think Brianna's maybe 24, 25, you know, the veteran on the team.
Oh, that makes me feel old. A little surprised by this call. I think that's a bit early to be hitting when you're down this many. I'd be throwing another guard on that rock in the 4-foot, even play a freeze or a tap. I don't know that I'd be removing that yellow just yet.
Certainly a chance right now here for Team Sutherland. Lying 2. Rosen looking for the... I think the call there was nose hit, and did get it out on the straight side a little bit.
Not far off from making the double, but worst case scenario there for Team Coburn, obviously.
Yeah, it doesn't remove either red from play. So Sutherland asking for the corner freeze on the lone yellow in play.
Doesn't need to make this freeze perfectly at all. Just make sure you sit 3 basically is the priority here. This looks like it's all there for weight. Sweepers have backed off it a little bit. Looks like she might have gotten away with it. It's a bit hard to tell, but I think they might be sitting 3. Challenge with that is the double here or hit and roll for Team Coburn kind of takes those back 2 away pretty quickly. Could have gone to the other side there too. I don't know that you needed to throw the freeze. If you just throw an out-turn draw anywhere around the tee line on the other side of the sheet and separate them, then there's no triple, and the double that she has is tough on those 2 reds the way they were sitting before this rock was thrown. Now you've grouped them all together, so one good shot here for Team Coburn could take away your multiple point score from Team Sutherland.
Yeah, it's just feeling like you have to be so perfect sometimes.
Yeah, like the freeze is great if you make it, and as long as you sit 3, it's not bad, but you've still grouped them on that side of the sheet. There's not much separation between any of those rocks, even if that shot's made well. Where you had the whole other side of the house is wide open. Now it could be that they're not sure about the speed over there. I'm not sure that they've thrown to that wing, but it looks to me like that, in theory, is the call if you knew the speed.
Coburn will be back on the stream at 5 p.m. taking on Jennifer Jones. Certainly looking like an exciting feature match to come there later this afternoon. Very nice. The double is made. Sierra Sutherland with her first here in the third end.
Would love to roll this a little bit away if you could. Right on the nose might leave a double. It's probably a tough double, but it's possible. This is that straight side again that seems to be fooling them.
Needs to stay.
Stays in play, but isn't second shot. So now if you could stick this for Team Coburn, you could get the force out of it. If you're Team Coburn, though, make sure you kill this red. If you give up a deuce, it's not the end of the world. It's not even an easy deuce because she's got to hit and stick on this one way out wide, that yellow there. But if you could ever stick, no chance for multiple score for Team Sutherland.
Yeah, right on the nose is going to make it real hard to make a double and stay.
Impossible, I would say.
Two stones to come here in the third end. Thea Coburn, her last. Steals of 3 in the first, 4 in the second, has them out to an early 7-0 lead.
Very nice. Really well done there.
Makes the hit and roll over. Looks like Sutherland's going to play the nose hit to get on the board here. It's certainly not against the possibility to consider the double here, is it?
You could. It's a tough double, and the thing that really is unfortunate for Team Sutherland is the rock that they would have to hit first is not shot rock. If you're going to play a high-risk double, you'd like to at least know you're killing shot rock. But yeah, you could definitely consider it. It's very flat. So I think you'd have to throw it extremely hard. It's, if I had Kevin Cooey throwing it for me, I'd play it for sure, but I'm not even sure that I would play it myself.
I think sometimes a shot like this is a good reset. Get rid of that hammer and then start throwing double center guards and getting super aggressive without.
If you're Team Sutherland right now, you just need to stop the bleeding. Just get on the board and, to your point, just junk up the middle and hope that you can steal some points here.
Sutherland with the hit. Fortunately, that one rolls a little too far as well. Be a steal of another point for Team Coburn. They now lead 8-0 after 3 ends here at the Stu Sells Toronto Tankard. We'll be right back after these short messages.
Hi.
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 I'm Sean Chang.
My name is Chris.
Hi, I'm Phil Hanna.
And I'm an RBC mortgage specialist.
I can meet you where you work, where you live, or halfway across town. Unia Mortgage Specialist.
You can find us anywhere, from here
to here,
and even way over here.
But what is a
mortgage specialist?
And what does a mortgage specialist do?
What does a mortgage specialist do?
What does a mortgage specialist do?
Well, to start, we understand our communities.
Whether you live in Little Portugal
or run and operate a store in Bloor West Village,
we want to understand you. We take the time to get to know each and every one of our clients.
Because we all have unique circumstances.
And we would love to get to know yours.
So, let's meet at your closest branch.
Or maybe over a cup of coffee.
So we can understand what matters to you.
We're here to support you.
And we never,
ever
leave our clients behind.
Whether you're buying your first home
or your fifth,
or even when you're looking to build your dream home.
We bring our deep understanding of the real estate landscape and our communities
together under the one team of RBC.
Para melhor atender você.
Because our goal is to help you achieve yours.
Our goal is to help you achieve yours.
And we'll work tirelessly to make your dream home a reality.
To make your dream home a reality.
Your goals and dreams deserve an expert. Come and see an RBC mortgage specialist today, where we won't leave a client behind.
It's been an early morning ride aboard the steel train for Team Coburn. 3 in the first, 4 in the second, another one in the third. Off to a real quick start here. Their first game here at the Stu Sells Toronto Tankard. Coburn played last weekend in the Oakville Tankard version, going 2-3 that weekend, just missing out on the playoff round. For the Sutherland team, they fell 9-3 to Lauren Mann in their first game last night. Now just looking to find some shots here. Get a couple points on the board, see what happens.
I stepped away for a second, didn't see the first shot there from Team Coburn, but I would suggest that was maybe a peel of shame on the second one. That's what we always like to call it when you throw the accidental guard and then peel your own rock.
Yeah, lead Alice Holyoke with the peel execution there. You still like that you got it. Throwing lead stones, you don't get to throw those shots very often anymore.
I remember when Dawn McEwen first joined Jennifer Jones, she'd played second before that with Jen Hanna. Everybody remembers the shot in 2005 was actually against Dawn as a second. And for the first couple of years when she would throw a rock through, it was like a firm to peel weight shot every time. And I remember saying to Jen once, she likes to throw those, hey? And she's like, yeah, she likes to throw those hard because she doesn't get to. It's the same as I play mixed doubles with Colin Hodgson, who of course is a lead for Team McEwen. and he just throws bombs. Like every peel that he throws is like 6.5 seconds. Just whips him down there because he doesn't get to do that when on his men's team, which is quite funny.
Joined again this morning by Chelsea Carey. You're back again later this afternoon, 1:30 Eastern. We've got Glenn Howard taking on Jason Cam in that game. Then later on this afternoon, Coburn here returns to play Jennifer Jones. I believe we've got the Two Girls in a Game crew coming on for that one. Lori and Mary will be on the call. You certainly had a good battle with Lori during the Scotties this year at the as Team Nunavut.
Yeah, she had us dead to rights for most of that game. To be honest, she made everything. It was impressive.
And then in this evening, Glenn Howard and John Epping will be our feature matchup. So really looking forward to that one as well. A great day of Thanksgiving Saturday curling.
Not the desired result there at all. Would have liked to hit that on the other side in theory, but for sure wanted to lose the shooter. So lots of coverage now for Team Sutherland.
Yeah, this is one of the challenges with the 5-rock rule, is that it is still very difficult to run home playing defense only.
You kind of can't. It's an interesting one. So you're up a bunch, and what you end up doing is we call it the stack. In the middle, one top 4 foot, one top 12 foot, and then a guard, or even 2 guards, because it's impossible to run and hide because you can't peel their corner guards. So kind of the only way to combat it is to junk the center a little bit.
So Sutherland with hammer has the middle stones in her control right now. This shot here by Chelsea Ferrier, real nice around that stack, as you call it.
Yeah, I would have liked that a little bit deeper. The line was perfect. It just needed to travel another couple feet, but it's still pretty good. Looks like it's a good chunk buried, and they're going to look at some kind of double peel here.
Really nice double peel there from Brianna Rosen.
Yeah, the rocks in the house weren't their concern there at all. Just lose those 2 guards is all you needed to do with that shot, which she made perfectly. Still not a bad situation for Team Sutherland, though, sitting 2 and getting to throw some guards here.
Bit of an overcurl of that guard. Time to deal with the stones in the middle now.
Yeah, that guard's not much of a threat for Team Coburn. You can see, I think, both of these reds. So just try to make the double. As long as you kill one, it's a pretty good shot. The challenge for Team Sutherland is that not only did that guard overcurl, but it's really, really long. So even if you came around it, it's likely that Team Coburn could make a play on your shot stone. Not quite what she was calling, but a pretty good result. Like I say, as long as you kill a rock there, it's a pretty good shot. Now Team Sutherland will look to use this corner guard.
Aaron Butler filling in this weekend for regular third, Adrian Beliveau. Of note, Butler and Rosen were teammates the past seasons.
Pretty good shot there. I think it stopped just in time where there is no double off of shot rock, which is the one on the center line. So for Team Coburn, you can hit shot rock. I'm not sure if you'll be shot or not, but that doesn't really matter right now, I don't think. But almost impossible to chase that red that's behind the corner guard. So mission accomplished for Team Sutherland there.
I think maybe if you can get a little bit of a roll towards that other stone. Kind of maybe wiggle underneath there a little bit.
Does stay shot there, so that's good.
Yeah, that's a real critical consideration here. You roll out there, you would leave Sutherland the opportunity to go around that corner.
Yeah, and as it stands, the hit and roll underneath is tough because of where those rocks are placed. I think unless you throw it really quiet, like a hack weight maybe, you're probably running straight into the side of your own red and it's not going to get underneath that guard. So you could hit and roll away here and just take your two, or you could play this really quietly and hit about maybe a third of a rock and roll steep underneath it. Based on that ice, it looks like she's throwing some weight at this. So my guess is either a nose hit or a little roll to the outside.
Needs a good piece of this to stay. Does manage to hold the rings. Sutherland now lying 2.
Really close to making that roll underneath. If she hit a tiny bit more of that, it might have clicked her rock that's behind the guard right now, come off kind of the back side of it and stayed mostly buried. Would have been really good. But good in the sense that she should have a shot for 2 here regardless.
Thea Coburn attends the University of Toronto. Part of the U of T Varsity Blues curling squad. Makes a hit, removes a red Sutherland counter. So now for Sierra Sutherland, a chance to hit paint. 4-2 here in the fourth end. Sometimes in the middle of an event, you just sort of need to find that spot to get the bus back on the road and look forward to the next games.
Yeah, to your point, it's one of those situations where your chances to win this game are pretty low. So at this point, what you're trying to do with this being kind of the first or second game of the event for both these teams, just get a good feel for the ice, get a feel for draw weight, where you need to put the broom. It's about learning now as much as anything for the next game.
You take that experience. You never know what happens in the game. As long as rocks are still traveling, there still is a chance. But like you're saying, I think that chance is pretty slim. So you got to use this time as best possible to find your footing on the ice.
It can take the pressure off you too if you think about it that way. So you worry less about the result and you just focus on the process and on the learning piece. And if you end up winning this game, then obviously that would be amazing. But it's once you shift that thinking, sometimes it can help you take it. Or worrying about the consequences is never a good place to be in mentally. So when you take that out of it and you just try to learn for the next game and you think about it that way, sometimes that little pressure off your back means you make a lot more shots.
And so there it is. Sutherland one step forward here at the KW Granite Club, draws into the top of the forefoot, 4-2. We are streaming live from the KW Granite Club, the Stu Sells Toronto Tankard. We'll be right back after these short messages.
Hey guys, I'm so excited about our new listing for the Stu Sells team. We are in our home turf, the Junction, and we are bringing this phenomenal semi to market. It's a corner lot with a huge side yard. It's got 3 bedrooms up, 1 bedroom in the basement, 2 full bathrooms, spectacular brand new hardwood floors, gorgeous kitchen, brand new 2-piece on the main floor, full finished rec room. You can have a family room, home office, above grade windows, nice and bright, separate entrance at the back. This home is awesome. We also have parking in the back. But look, we're in the Junction. The Sweet Potato is just right there. All the stores, funky shops in the Junction. And now with Cafe TO, they've all gone out in the streets with really cool patios. So you can go to Noto's patio and have Italian. You can go to the Alpines patio and get some great food. And everything's walking distance. And also, don't forget to give us a call if you want your Stu Says Slow Down sign. Stay safe and scrub your hands and support our frontline workers. So go to stusells.ca. You can see all the photos, the video, and then give me, Stu, a call and come for a personal tour.
No matter what speed you're comfortable with, the G50 line has a shoe for you.
That's comfortable and stylish.
When it was time to get his first pair of curling shoes, we went with Goal Line. Now it's time for the G50.
Looks great, but it grips better than anything.
Man, this is a light curling shoe.
These remind me of why I like to play the game.
This is actually the most comfortable curling.
Back here with the fifth end. Team Coburn with the hammer now for the first time here in the game. Julie Breton with lead stones for Team Sutherland. Alice Hollyoak throwing lead stones for Team Coburn. Joined again by Chelsea Carey. We'll be back again at 1:30 Eastern with Glenn Howard taking on Jason Cam. Is that what we would consider a high five now? A little broom tap to the forehead?
It looked like I saw some sort of broom tap high fives from last weekend as well. So it's that time. It's COVID. You gotta get creative.
Yeah, these teams maintaining their distance out on the ice, staying in motion. Kind of using a modified version of the one sweeper rule. One sweeper is allowed to carry the stone from start to finish. That includes behind the tee line. But they're the only player allowed to sweep on any shot. The skip in the house must step back and give space. The other sweeper is allowed to be in play. They're helping with judging, timing. You see this second sweeper here. She's got the stopwatch on her hip. And she'll help guide the weight call on this shot.
There's no rule about which sweeper it needs to be, though, is there? Like you can either sweeper as long as it's the same one, right?
Yeah, I think the way curling clubs are going to manage it is it's mostly alternating. But with the competitive teams, you know, you might as well have your best sweeper on the stone as much as possible.
Yeah, I was going to say some sweepers might hate this rule because they're going to be sweeping every single rock. So looking for the double peel there, didn't quite kill the second one, but the good news for Team Coburn is that it's off the center line. So not perfect, but still pretty good because they're keeping that. All their goal here is to have a shot for one. They don't need to get fancy. They just need to make sure they can score.
Yeah, at this point for Team Coburn, just taking a stone with every stone you throw is a strong objective.
Yeah, kill a red rock. That's really all you're looking to do.
Calissa Daly with second stones for Team Coburn. Has a chance at the double here.
Yeah, right on the nose. You're real close to killing both those. Maybe just a shade on the high side.
Lead Alice Holyoke, Daly, and Coburn, all part of that 2019 Ontario Junior Championship team.
Really good shot there. It's as good as she could have possibly made that shot. It's over buried now around the guard. The bad news for Sutherland is that it's way out in the corner, but she couldn't do much else there. That's a really good shot.
Yeah, I think at this point you're just trying to hide under anything you can find. You need a point. You need something to go on the board. And the best way to do that is to try and lie more than one somehow and force Coburn into a draw against a couple.
Exactly. It's the same concept we talked about in the first end with it's never a bad idea to make them throw against a few, even if the shot's not that hard. That's the philosophy that Team Sutherland is going to need to adopt here. Just to your point, try to sit a couple, and whether it's a hit and stay or a draw, you got to hope for misses at this point.
Brianna Rosen with the peel. So Aaron Butler will be asked to make the draw. Split the rings here. Does not have to be frozen.
Would like to be, if you could. Makes it a bit harder for Team Coburn. If you make a good freeze here, then all of a sudden they've got to make some decisions because they can't really see much of that other red rock on the other side. And if you're frozen, this would be hard to remove. But the primary objective here is to sit 2. This looks like it's light. Managed to drag it over the hog line, so it's in play, but it's not the most useful guard you could ask for.
Just certainly finding some struggles all around this Sutherland team right now. Again, for them, this is their first event of the season. It's not unexpected to see a little bit of this. Sutherland went 2-2 last season in their only women's tour event. They played the Stu Sells Oakville Tankard. Losses to Anna Hasselberg, Danielle Inglis. They did manage to get a win over Carrie Galusha of the Territories.
A lot of people are going to lose to Anna Hasselberg. I can personally attest to that.
Yeah, I think they lost 9 games last season.
Yeah, they don't lose very much.
Yeah, anytime you keep single digits loss tally, you're achieving something pretty spectacular. So again, we can certainly tell curling fans are hungry for the game. We've got over 250 people still hanging out this Saturday morning. If anybody's got any questions for Chelsea Carey, we've got her here for this draw. Back again later this afternoon. We got Felix Asselin popping into the chat. I want to throw a shout out to Felix and his teammates, Team Fournier. Unfortunately, the horses weren't able to travel down to Oakville due to restrictions in Quebec. First of 2 for Coburn here in the 5th end. They do have the hammer. Just that high corner guard in play out front.
A really nice freeze by Team Sutherland makes that guard a lot better than it was looking like it was going to be. So for Team Coburn here, pressure on a little bit, but she makes that perfect. So
can she get to the nose with a hit here? Or not trying it, it seems, but
I think if you could throw the out turn at it, you might be able to kill it, but throwing the in turn, you're going to get a lot less action on that yellow.
Putting the lean into it here.
Little body language never hurt.
There you go. 2 ends in a row. Sierra seems to have found her draw weight. Really nice shot there. Maybe set up a steal here in 5.
The good news for Team Coburn is she just threw this shot, so she should have a pretty good idea.
Key here, you're just drawing to the tee line. You can't really be thinking backing, can you?
No, I think that's a classic mistake, is to try to draw to the backing and then you overthrow it and it goes by everything. I'd be taking, I mean, the challenge is knowing the speed, but in theory you take ice for just a draw to the button. But I think she's probably taking ice for the same shot she just threw, but you want to be thinking tee line, not kind of back 8.
And they hold just enough. It'll be a
Weight
single
was
point
perfect,
here.
almost over curled, but she made it.
There's a little bit of panic there at the end. I know Thea was calling on the sweepers there for line, but they hold just enough. Get a single point. Now lead 9-2 here after 5 ends.
Hey guys, we are here at the Summit at King and Bathurst, and this condo complex is crazy. Look, it's got an outdoor pool, it's got 2 barbecues, has an indoor pool, full gym, yoga, workout room. This is truly like being at Club Med. Now, we're bringing this amazing 1-bedroom and den condo unit to market, brand new wood floor, brand new gorgeous kitchen, brand new bathroom, open concept. This building was built about 30 years ago. When they built these condos, they built them for living. So we're almost 700 square feet of open space, floor to ceiling glass, so much room, closets, storage. This is an amazing unit. So go to stusells.ca, look at all these pictures, see the video, and then call me Stu and come for your personal tour.
No matter what speed you're comfortable with, the G50 line has a shoe for you.
That's comfortable and stylish.
When it was time to get his first pair of curling shoes, we went with Goal Line. Now it's time for the G50.
Looks great, but it grips better than anything.
Man, this is a light curling shoe.
These remind me of why I like to play the game.
This is actually the most comfortable curling shoe I have ever owned. It's a gold line.
It's a gold line.
It's a gold line.
And it's the choice of champions.
Firehouse Subs has so many delicious quality subs. There's something for everyone. But the one that started it all more than 25 years ago was the Hook and Ladder. Piping hot and piled high with freshly sliced smoked turkey breast, honey ham, melted Monterey Jack, and loaded with the freshest toppings on a toasted roll. Try the Hook and Ladder today to find out why everyone keeps coming back again and again. The Hook and Ladder. One bite and you'll be hooked. Visit firehousesubs.ca to order online.
We're back here for the sixth end. Team Sutherland with another chance with hammer. Have the corner guard up early, drawing another one around it. Lead Julie Breton. Of course, for Team Coburn, they don't need anything in play anymore.
The less rocks, the better if you're Team Coburn with a 7-point lead.
Calissa Daly will throw this one away. Chelsea Ferrier with second stones for Team Coburn. Sorry, for Team Sutherland. Three players from Team Sutherland have been together for a number of seasons now. The front end of Ferrier and Breton. Adrienne Beliveau, the new player to the lineup last season. Of course, Erin Butler replacing her here this weekend. So Daly with another peel up front. Again, just one at a time. Keep it simple right now. Got an interesting question from the YouTube chat for you, Chelsea, and this one might take some thinking. It's from Andrew, and he asks you, if you got the chance to rethrow any shot from your curling career, which one would it be?
That doesn't take much thinking at all. It would be my blank in the first end against Rachel Holman in the Olympic trials final in 2017.
Yeah, I think that is a kind of a subtle choice, but it certainly set the tone for that game, didn't it?
Yeah, and you know what? I actually, when I say I would like to rethrow it, I would like to rethrow it knowing what I knew. We didn't mind the throw. It just went way straighter on us than we expected. But if I got to do it knowing now what I knew, if you make that blank, that game goes a little bit differently for sure.
Again, Rosen looking for the double there. Does continue to remove one at a time from Team Sutherland. For Sutherland, they have 2 games remaining after this. Taking on Jennifer Jones tomorrow, 10 a.m. Of course, Abby Deshane at 8:30 tomorrow evening. For Coburn, their first game of the Stu Sells Toronto Tankard. They take on Jennifer Jones at 5 p.m. later this afternoon. That one will be on the live stream. They also play Emily Deschennes, as well as Kathy Auld yet as well. Aaron Butler finding the weight there. Gets the house split. Would have loved to have kept that a little bit closer to the middle, though.
Yeah, unfortunately for Team Sutherland here, you'd like everything near the middle, and you don't have anything near there. So not as much pressure on Team Coburn as you would like, but again, all you can do at this point is try to sit 2 and make her throw against 2 and hope you get a miss.
Yeah, well played end by the Coburn side, keeping that middle clear from the start. You see them playing tick shots early, just trying to, clear out that space. Sorry, I had my hammer confused here. Sutherland, of course, with the hammer here in the 6th end. So they do like those corner guards here.
True. Would love to get more than 2 here for Sutherland, but have to make sure you at least get your 2. So again, at this point, in the end, that's what it's going to be. So you take your 2 points and cross your fingers.
Yeah, I think in this point, nothing wrong with splitting the rings there. But with that tight corner guard up, you would have loved to have maybe drawn around that and help set up a chance for 2 or for 3, sorry.
Yeah, if the guard was a little longer and you could sink 2 around there, then definitely. But it is quite a tight guard, so.
Yeah, at this point, beggars can't be choosers anymore. You're going to need some pretty significant misses, so ideally pile as many stones in there as possible and see what happens. Sutherland with the hit and stay. Lies 2 now. 1 to come here in the 6th end for each team.
A draw for 2 here. I don't know what the ice is like for them, but you could look at the split for 3. I think you'd have to at least consider it given the scoreboard, but it's awfully tough. You'd have to throw the in-turn on the board side and throw it with like a solid hack weight, but it might be there.
Try and just catch a thin piece of it, try and hold it kind of on the T-line area, and then get your shooter to roll just far enough.
Exactly.
We'll be right back after these short messages with an update.
Hey guys, we are here at the Summit at King and Bathurst, and this condo complex is crazy. Look, it's got an outdoor pool, it's got 2 barbecues, has an indoor pool, full gym, yoga, workout room. This is truly like being at Club Med. Now, we're bringing this amazing 1-bedroom and den condo unit to market, brand new wood floor, brand new gorgeous kitchen, brand new bathroom, open concept. This building was built about 30 years ago. When they built these condos, they built them for living. So we're almost 700 square feet of open space, floor to ceiling glass, so much room, closets, storage. This is an amazing unit. So go to stusells.ca, look at all these pictures, see the video, and then call me, Stu, and come for your personal tour.
So it looks like we have a final here, 9-4. Sierra Sutherland with the draw for 2. Gets 2 more points on the board. Maybe feels a little bit better coming home after this. It's been great, Chelsea, having you on for this game. Looking forward to our next game, 1:30 Eastern Time. Glenn Howard taking on Jason Cam.
Sounds good.
Anyways, thanks again for everyone for tuning in. We will be back 1:30. Be sure to check out the live scores at curlingzone.com. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you're on Facebook, be sure to follow us. Click on the notification tab to let us know that you're following, and you'll get notified when we're back again live. So until then, thanks again, Chelsea, and we'll be back soon.
When I sweep with the Gold Line Fiber Light, I feel like I'm sweeping on TV.
That's light.
More surface area, better results.
It's that easy.
It's that easy.
You need to sweep for weight. You need to sweep with this.
Now, every time I curl, people ask me, what are you sweeping with?
What are you sweeping with?
What are you sweeping with?
It's a Gold Line.
It's a Gold Line.
It's a Gold Line.
It's a Gold Line.
And it's the choice of champions.
Firehouse Subs has so many delicious quality subs. There's something for everyone. But the one that started it all more than 25 years ago was the Hook and Ladder. Piping hot and piled high with freshly sliced smoked turkey breast, honey ham, melted Monterey Jack, and loaded with the freshest toppings on a toasted roll. Try the Hook and Ladder today to find out why everyone keeps coming back again and again. The Hook and Ladder. One bite and you'll be hooked. Visit firehousesubs.ca to order online.
Hey guys, we are here at the summit at King and Bathurst, and this Hey guys, welcome to the Stu Sells team's brand new listing, and I am so pumped to bring 113th Street to market. This is a super cool house. We are in New Toronto. The lake is right there. The bike path is right there. Do you know what? I've always said in real estate, this area of Lakeshore, New Toronto, is going to be the next beaches of Toronto. You can see the development, and voila, we have this great raised bungalow. The ceilings in the basement are 8 feet tall, and you have a 1-bedroom apartment in the basement for extra income. And you know what? My client has done all the hard work. She's taken out the wall. She's put in the structural support beam. So everything's there to put a second story on, or you know what? Just come to this beautiful country-like setting backyard and just chill. The home has a lot of upgrades. Like I said, it has the beam. It's an open concept, and you know what? The crazy thing about this bungalow is it actually has a front hall closet, which most bungalows don't. So look, go to stusells.ca. You can see all the pictures and videos of this amazing backyard. You can take a tour of the area and call me Stu and come have a showing.